Hello! Hello, guys! Oh, thank you about the compliments about the hair and the vibes going on in here. I'm very excited about today's stream. This is our first time going live that is actually going to be like, it's intended to be a podcast. And look who's here! It's Irving!
Hello.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. Good. Not too bad. Just finished up my lunch not too long ago and just hanging out, doing a little bit of work, but taking a little break. How are you?
I'm doing well. I actually just finished my lunch too, which would be fine, except for it's like 2 hours later here than it is for you. I just kind of missed lunch.
All right. Late lunch. Late lunch. I love it.
So are you doing a lot of work from home now then?
Yeah. All of my work has been from home essentially. It's been pretty nice actually. I'm naturally a little bit, you wouldn't think this, but like I'm naturally an introvert sometimes. And so it's kind of been nice being able to just be at home, cook my own food, not be in traffic all the time with that LA traffic and whatnot. So yeah, it's been nice. It hasn't been too bad.
I totally get that. I think actually like all of the people who are like popular creators online are secret introverts.
Yeah.
Like I think that's exactly what it is. So you posted recently about wanting to take a break from social media, and I kind of like, I was like that. I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, Irving, and we talked about it, whatever. But what I wanted to really talk to you about was like this whole thing where like you've been a social media influencer for so long for Color Guard. So do you want to like tell me about that? Like when did you first start making content? Because I didn't actually know you or see you until the Patricia video, which I think is a lot of people. But like when did you start doing that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, kind of, you've been doing this for a really long time too. I feel like we might have started at almost around the same time. No, like when did you start? Like,
Probably. Well, I didn't start Spintronics yet, but I posted my first like videos online of Color Guard back in 2005, like when YouTube started.
okay.
So that
Yeah,
was like, it was a long time ago.
Prominent YouTube realm. Yeah, okay, I remember. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
For me, the way my whole journey started there, it was the fall of 2013. I had just taken a winter season off. I was aged out already, but I was planning to go back to Vanguard Winter Guard, right, for the 2014 Winter Guard season. And me and the girlfriend that I was dating at the time, we decided to go to the park and just kind of spin a little bit and just, whatever, just spin and just kind of like try to rub off the rust, right? So we spun and we had fun. And at the time, this was back when like Instagram had just allowed you to have post videos on their Instagram. Like, so this is before IG stories or anything like that.
Right.
They had just allowed video and Vine was still going strong, right? So, yeah, like I honestly, I don't know what it was, but like we were just at the park for hours and I was just like, hey, record me doing this or record me doing that. Like, I don't know why. I was just like, just record me doing this. So I tossed like tosses or I did like stupid things or whatever. My first official video that I want to say that came out of was this, like, this is how you toss a rifle 8. And like, I would toss like a rifle 8. And I remember posting that on Instagram. And usually my post would get like 30 likes or so. And then This one was the first one, got like 100 likes. And I'm like, oh, okay. This must be a thing, right? So I was just like, okay, let me try to do a little bit more of this, right? So I just started kind of going off from there. I really did get a lot of inspiration from the Viners back in the day because they were being so funny and making.
Oh my gosh, I loved Vine.
Me too. Like I spent hours and hours on Vine. And so I got a lot of inspiration truly from that to really take on the comedy side of things. And I just thought like, hey, like, there's no Color Guard influencers that I know of that take a funny side from Color Guard. And there's so many funny aspects or things I could poke fun at in the Color Guard realm that I could totally make content all the time. So I kind of just started slowly making content, and this is like in the winter season of 2014. I was kind of on and off making content. At first, I would dedicate to making one video every 2 weeks and post it on a Sunday before rehearsal or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just started like that, and I started making better videos, and I started getting really good traction. I posted another video that went slightly viral before the Patricia video. Like I got like 800 likes, and I was like, oh my god, like I just like this is like I hit the jackpot here, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it just encouraged me to keep going, right? So yeah, I just kind of kept going. That summer in 2014, I taught Blue Coats, the color guard, and when I came back, I had garnered a small following on my Punk Rock Irving account. I had around 5,000 or so followers, and at the time, I was teaching this high school called Chino High School, and we would just have fun making videos, right? So we just started making videos and everything like that. And at the time, so the Patricia thing, to many people's disappointment, that wasn't my voice. The one that says Patricia, like a lot of people are disappointed by that, but it really wasn't my voice, and I actually did not intend for that video to go viral, like at all, like whatsoever. Like
It's always
I
the ones
honestly,
that you don't like think about they'll go viral though that do it.
yeah, exactly. Like I really thought it was just gonna be a whatever video. Like I thought it was gonna get barely any likes or anything like that. So for me, it was a throwaway, which is funny how that turns out, right? So anyway, there was a Viner named Krish that had that Patricia voice that was so hilarious, and I saw other accounts on Vine that were dubbing his voice, essentially what TikTok does now, but like
Right.
dubbing his voice and putting it to their videos. And I just thought, I was like, oh, like, you know what? Like, you know, a lot of people get yelled at in color guard. Let me dub his voice over for this. And
Oh
I
my
think,
gosh.
and so I did that. The whole, you know, get it together, sweetie. We have a show this weekend. That was all me. And I just literally told all the kids that I taught, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna yell Patricia after you drop. I need you all to shake. I shook the camera. I feel like that was kind of the magic of it all. They all kind of like made it shake like it was an earthquake and whatnot. So and you know, I posted it, and it turned out, I feel like it turned out really well. It turned out really well, and
I mean, I'd say so.
the IG fame just started right there. Like it was just like it just exploded. Like yeah, it was actually, so I was marching back over Winter Guard again. It was 2015. I did start getting slightly recognized at shows, which I thought was like the coolest thing.
Right.
I don't know. I was just kind of living like this like celebrity color guard member. It was. I mean, truthfully, it was really cool and really awesome. I remember going to regionals and getting recognized or being asked to take pictures and whatnot, and it felt good. You know, it felt really good. And so I was like, all right, cool. I have to keep doing this. And it wasn't until I went to WGI Finals in 2015. I'd say WGI Finals in 2015 was probably one of my best experiences. Not only because we had a great show for Vanguard Winter Guard. You know, we won that year.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good show.
Yeah, year, and not only that, when I showed up at the UD Arena, it was over. Like I could not even walk to the restroom without being stopped and like to take a picture.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So I was just like, whoa, this is crazy, right? So I was all about it. I was soaking it all in, and I was just like, this is cool, this is awesome, I need to keep doing this and whatnot. So I think from that moment on, I had this like just energy and ideas, like just I need to do this, I need to do that. I was just doing anything and everything that I could color guard wise. So that's just kind of how I got started, and from there I kind of just kept it going. And like eventually after that season, I moved to Ohio. I was in Ohio for a year. I worked for WGI during that year. And then from there, I moved back to LA. I taught a few color guards when I was back in LA, but then ultimately I started working for like social media companies like that. I started like managing entertainment brand companies for social media. So that's kind of like where I get my money, and I just kind of did color guard on the side. So
right.
It kind of just became this thing of just me shooting content and me taking on my professional work life as well, right? So, and then in 2017, I marched Fantasia Winter Guard again, and but yeah, no, it's been great. I guess this whole journey that I've been on, it's crazy that it's been 7 years, and I've been doing it so long, like with no break whatsoever. And I will say that I've had like many burnouts throughout that time, but I just kind of kept going. And I think I feel like I'm at a pretty good place now to say like, okay, like I feel good about what I've done. already.
Well,
So
you've made so many contributions and like influence, and I just want to say like about the Patricia video in particular. I this past year, so I'm a biology teacher, and at the high school where I teach, we did Vine Day as one of their like dress up days for Spirit Week. And so I literally brought my rifle with me to school, which was crazy because I don't teach the color guard here at the school. And but I brought my rifle and I put a little name tag on that said, "Hi, my name's Patricia." And I was the Patricia Vine. People got it. And how it's been so many years, and these kids are like, I mean, these kids were like born when we started spinning, So it's like they're so young, and it's like another whole generation, but they still know what's going on. Like the fact that you've had such a cascading influence all the way through is just incredible.
it was really crazy. Yeah, just seeing all like the meme IG accounts with millions of followers reposting it, seeing WGI reposted it, like it went beyond color guard. That like it went all over the world. Like I remember I have a friend that lives in the Netherlands, and she sent me a link where like the Patricia video was being shown on this like I guess America's Funniest Home Videos version in the Netherlands.
Gosh.
So I was just like, whoa, okay. And then like not too long ago, actually, a couple months ago, I saw that it was on Ridiculousness too. So
Yeah.
it
Oh my
still
gosh.
continues to live. So it just really just it's just funny because a lot of people saw it and people were just like, oh, look at that cheerleader or whatnot. It's just like, you still don't know. But you know what? At least I feel pretty proud of the fact that like at least I was able to push color guard in front of people that might have never found out what color guard was. So
people were sending it to me, and they're like, "Isn't this what you do?" I'm like, I mean, kind of. We try not to drop it, but whatever. You're seeing color guard, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
so great. We did have a whole bunch of questions from our story post.
For sure.
And so there's some really deep stuff in here. I'm really excited about some of the stuff that that this has like garnered. So let's start with an easy one. Really, really easy one. What's your favorite piece of equipment?
So I've always I've always really tried to master every single piece of equipment, but it's really, I can't deny it that like rifles always come to me very easily. Like really, when I first started off in color guard, I was just like straight boy in color guard, thinking like I want to spin rifle. That's kind of like I feel like a lot of straight boys get into color guard in that way, So like I totally was that straight boy that did that. So I was all about spinning rifle. I think it's like the one piece of equipment that I practice like the most on, like and so I naturally just even now, so like when I'm choreographing, I love challenging myself and trying to choreograph everything, even dance. But like when it comes to choreographing rifle, I find it so much easier than other pieces of equipment. Like it just comes very naturally to me. I feel like I understand that piece. Like when it touches my hand, it's like magic. It's so I'd say rifle for sure. But I will say that I wish I was even better at saber or flag, and for sure dance. So
yeah, I think a lot of color guard people feel that way about dance. Like it's such the core of what we do, that like the movement side of things, that they don't always get that in high school. And so
yeah, I'm sad to say that like the only dance classes I've ever had were through color guard, and if I could look back and redo some things again, I'd absolutely make it more of an important aspect of my color guard training. I feel like I would have been able to showcase myself better, and looking back at it now, I'm like I was very stiff a lot of the time, and so especially when I was marching Blue Devils, I got called out a lot on that for sure. So I do wish I was taking some dance classes, but at the time it wasn't important to me, unfortunately. So
yeah.
So yeah, definitely dance classes will always make you better at color guard, no matter what.
This is true. I mean, people have gone away from color guard completely and just done dance and come back to color guard and been so much better. That's actually a really good segue, though. Is there anything you regret throughout your professional experience with guard?
That is a great question. Do I regret anything? for the most part, I very much like to think I don't have any regrets or regret anything. But in terms of regrets, sure, of course. Like I marched several color guards, and I've thought of many things that I wish I would have done or could have done. I mean, honestly, there's a lot. I don't think there's like a lone benefactory. Like there's not like one sole thing that I regret,
Right.
but just like things like I wish I went to Blue Devils a year earlier, right? So I could have had 4 years instead of 3 years. Or I wish that I didn't take the season off in 2013 and march Vanguard Winter Guard that year. Or I wish I marched one more year of Vanguard Winter Guard before I officially finished. Or, there's been a few teaching opportunities that would have been really good for me, but I passed on because I chose another direction. But then again, some of those decisions were good. So I mean, I guess you really never know. I mean, every decision is going to open up a different path. But I'd say for the most part, I'm happy with the things that I've done. And in terms of like the social content that I created and make, like I don't have any regrets for anything that I've done for like punk rock Irving. Like for any content that I pushed out on Instagram, I was always trying to be bold and with the best intentions possible. And of course I'm human, so sometimes like the posts really don't resonate with people, but I've always tried to be, I guess, inspire others as best as possible, so yeah, I guess that's kind of my way to put it.
Yeah, like just making sure that you're getting as many years as you possibly can while you're still able to perform, because it really doesn't last forever. And I think we finally have actually seen that with this whole coronavirus and everything. We always talk about it, and I don't know if your instructors were like mine, but my instructors were always like, perform like it's your last time every time, and it's like that really
that's
happens.
why, like, one of my videos where I was just like, like a coronavirus like came back, would you be happy with that last round 3?
Yep, I saw that one.
Yeah, so no, it totally it happens for sure, and instructors are always going to say stuff like that, but so far I don't know. I mean, as far as the coronavirus topic and color guard, like it's so crazy and devastating. Like WGI got canceled. Sorry, a loud car passed by.
That was outside? Oh man.
Yeah, it was outside. Yeah. So yeah, no, I feel like with WGI being canceled, that was such a huge blow to the color guard community. Like I just couldn't even fathom in all their history of being like this like competitive organization. For it to just say like, okay, it's not happening. Like that's how when it really became real for me. I feel like there's a lot of things that got canceled during this time, and it didn't become serious until that got canceled. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, we really have to take this a little bit more seriously. And so I really didn't know the kind of effect that it was gonna have on me, but like it sucked. I was teaching Fantasia A Winter Guard, and they were having a really great season, and I saw their last show without knowing it was gonna be their last show. So I mean, I know a lot of organizations went through things like that, so it sucks, especially for the kids that are I mean, much less for me, but like the kids that were like marching, or the kids that were supposed to age out this summer, or even then like the kids that were supposed to march this summer but like lost a year, that were planning to be like 4 or 5 or whatever, like all of that stuff sucks. And honestly, like like I don't want to get too much into the political sphere, but like just the wearing the mask thing, like it just blows my mind, like because like this virus is still around. Like it's just we might not even have a 2021 Winter Guard season. Like I really do, I honestly I feel like it's gonna be, I feel like we might have it, but we might not, because I feel like a lot of school districts are not gonna roll with that either. So it's tricky for sure. So anyway, sorry, I don't know how
No, that's okay. That's okay. No, that's honestly so important, because we need to realize like the school districts and such are going to have such a say because of the way that things are going right now. So a lot of the fall sports are getting pushed into the spring. A lot of places have decided to have football in the spring. And so it's like, well, now that you have football, are you also going to have are you also going to have marching band in the spring? Like, is that going to be an expectation? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So, yeah, no, I think that's so important for people to really think about and consider and understand.
No, absolutely, 100%. And you know, I think specifically just like for the kids, like it's color guard's one thing, but just like staying safe and protecting kids and employees and all that, that should be the number one thing right now. So I just feel like color guard for sure needs to take a break right now, just because there's more important measures at hand. Like, you know, it's just like, oh, it's not like a, hey, this will, it'll come back next season. Like, I just feel like
Right.
we're gonna get another wave of disappointed once we hear that 2021 is canceled too. So I hope it doesn't come to that, but you know, you never know.
Well, let's talk about something more exciting.
Okay.
With this one, it says, what advice do you have for someone who's trying to reignite their passion for guard?
Oh man, caught
This
me
like
at the wrong time right now.
so such a relative topic at the moment, man.
You know, there's been many times where I have really felt like I lost my passion for color guard, and that's me being candid and honest. But I always felt like it was important for me to continue pushing out content because of all the kids and students that came up to me and told me that they really love my content and they love what I do. And so that kind of always drove me and fueled my passion. But yeah, you know, it's very, I especially when I was younger, it was very easy to just lose like inspiration or focus on what you really want in color guard. And I'm extremely happy and I feel honored to say that like I had a ton of color guard resources around me when I was marching. Whereas like I could march, I had several, like not several, but like I had organizations around me that,
Right.
you know, that I could march, world-class organizations. I had Blue Devils in the same state, you know, so Vanguard in the same state. So like I'm grateful that I've had that, and it's and friends that kind of keep it going. But I know there's students out there that live like, I don't know, in like nowhere, Kansas, right? And maybe
Yep.
don't have any organizations around them, and it's tough to kind of just keep that motivation going. So I'd say that everybody's experience with color guard is going to be so different that it's hard really to pinpoint what's going to inspire it for you, for sure. But with that said, I don't know. I think I guess you'd have to analyze it. Like, how important is color guard to you? And what were you feeling when you were in color guard? Like, was it something that was making you happy before, but didn't like before? Like finding that core solution of like, why did I leave color guard? Why did I stop doing it? And maybe it'll act as a reminder or refresher of like, oh, maybe I should continue to stop doing color guard, or maybe I should keep doing color guard, right? So sometimes, like for example, sometimes it could take a really bad instructor for a kid to just quit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And although that instructor might not ever admit that, you know, so the students will, and they'll say that. And to that, I'll say like, okay, well then go on to another organization and keep searching for the kind of place that you want to be in until you find that family. You know, I think, essentially, sorry, this is a really long answer, but
No,
essentially,
it's good. I'm eating it up.
I think if you're trying to reignite your passion for color guard, watch color guard videos, follow your favorite social influencers. If that gets you excited, great. That's a great sign that you still have passion for the activity and you still want to do it. But now step 2, which is the hardest part, is actually doing it. I know when you take a really long break from color guard and then you go outside after like months of not spinning, it's hard and it's devastating and you just feel like you really suck, you know, and
Yeah.
I've had that kind of feeling like many times, right? And then you feel like you digress, but it's really just putting in the work and effort. So if you have time and energy to put in that effort, then it's not impossible. And if you really want to march, you'll search for that independent organization that's taking new members or is training people, or look for online resources to help you train and really dedicate to it. And I mean, truly now, especially in this time right now, you know, you think about it, a lot of kids do color guard because their high schools are doing it, or they're marching independent organizations because, you know, their favorite organization is around, but right now they're not, you know. So unfortunately, I feel like we're seeing this shift in like how many kids are like, you know, deprioritizing color guard at the moment. So
Oh yeah.
it's I feel like it's kind of sadly being forgotten about. Um, but not that it'll go away forever, but I feel like it'll hurt it. Like I feel because like if like for example, let's say WGI 2021 doesn't happen, I feel like a lot of people will move away from color because that's 2 years of like not people move on after
Yeah.
that. So it's difficult. It's hard. I feel like this kind of conversation is really relevant right now, and people are gonna have to deal with that or decide for themselves like, okay, do I really want to come back to the activity after this whole coronavirus thing happened, after I've not been doing it for 2 years? Am I gonna want to come back? I don't know. You have to kind of assess that for yourself, you know. For me in general, like I knew when I was done marching, like I just knew, like when I was marching Fantasia, like I loved it. I loved the organization. I worked with the organization, but I just personally knew, I was like, you know what, I feel very accomplished and good about my color guard run, and I'm ready to end it. So I think it's just a matter of knowing too. So that's the number one thing. So sorry, going back to what I was saying is that if you want to get back to it, it's not impossible. If you want to do it, it's not impossible. You just have to put in the effort, and that's easier said than done. So I'll keep it at that.
That definitely takes a lot of time.
My 12-minute answers.
Oh man. Okay. So, what is something you always look back on from competition days that makes you smile?
Yeah, for sure. I have tons of those now since I haven't marched. I have many for sure. Let's see if I could think of a few. Like I just mentioned 2015 WGI.
Right.
Winning WGI that year, being recognized for the whole Patricia things, like just being just blown up as like this color guard influencer, like just in this space that never existed before. Like that's probably one of the happiest color guard moments of my life, and being able to meet people. I think some of the most rewarding parts specifically from like being a color guard influencer is just meeting the kids at shows. Like it really is rewarding and touching when I just hear students just say like, I love your content, you inspire me to keep spinning, you make me laugh when I'm having a bad day. Like all of those, I'm just like, whoa. Like when I started hearing those kids coming up to me, some kids crying when they meet me, I was so humbled and so appreciative and so grateful. So like stuff like that always touches my heart and makes me really happy. But in terms of being a marching member, truly, like for example, like I loved all I do love all I feel like I picked up something positive out of every single organization that I marched with, and I did march a lot of organizations, and I'm grateful for that because I got to pick up a lot of styles here and there.
Honestly, that's so great to make you like a diverse instructor overall, to learn from so many different people.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I was just trying to find a good place where I feel like this is my home. And honestly, I really felt that when I was at Vanguard Winter Guard. And it was just a good, humbling home. Like when I started color guard, I was in a color guard that just was absolutely awful. Like like my color guards, like I was in this independent A color guard that like never won WGI, never even made independent A finals, like for my first couple of years. And so I was just tired of losing all the time. So when I got to Vanguard Winter Guard, it felt nice. It felt nice that I was like, wow, it feels nice to be like in the top 5 of WGI. It felt like that. I love that competitive edge.
It's probably a different culture too. Like everybody kind of has the same mindset when you're in a really competitive team.
Yeah, I mean, not all the time, but yes, most of the time when they're top 5, yes, absolutely. So I look back at my Vanguard Winter Guard days and I smile because everything was great, from the members to the staff. Like all my experiences, the shows were really great. And I'm really happy that I got to march Blue Devils. Like really, like Blue Devils was just one of those things where I felt like I accomplished such a huge color guard goal. Like for me, like I grew up in a working class environment in East Los Angeles, right? And the Los Angeles Unified School District, unfortunately, does not put a lot of money into the marching arts. And so there's not really any marching bands. The high school I went to didn't have a marching band. So I joined in. And so I somehow got very lucky and met somebody that was starting an Independent A organization, and I marched the Independent A throughout my high school life. But that benefited me because I got to march with people that were way older than me. I was on a rifle line at 14 with people that were 18 and 19, you know, so I got to get good really quickly. Whereas like, you know, things like drum corps, and especially more so now, like drum corps is such a privileged activity now. Like it feels
really
like
is.
you need to, like, your family needs to be like making six figures if you want to put your kid in drum corps, you know, like it's so dumb expensive. Like, and I have no regrets about this. My dad said, if you want to keep doing that, you need to go to college, and he still didn't pay for it. So what I did is, because my family was not making so much money, I did get a ton of financial aid when I went to college, and I just used that to march the Blue Devils. I used all my financial aid to march the Blue Devils. Best decision ever, honestly. So that's how I did it.
Well, and drum corps, back when you and I marched, like it was not nearly as expensive as it is now.
No, yeah, it's like back when I marched, Blue Devils was $1,800.
Oh my gosh.
And like, you know, from friends that I've taught with that like marched in the 90s, they were just like, oh, it was like $600 or so or whatever, you know. I'm like, damn, okay. So yeah, unfortunately it is a privileged thing, and that's a whole nother topic within itself. But like, but in general, I'm just happy that I was able to, you know, get my butt off and go into auditions. A lot of people don't go to the auditions that they want to simply because they're scared, or they think they're not going to make it, or whatnot. And I was scared for sure going to Blue Devils. I felt like I was going to humiliate myself, but I didn't. You know, I went and I felt like I had a really good audition, and I made it. And truly, this is a memory that I'm never going to forget. So my first year was 2009 with Blue Devils, and that year we were using chairs, right? And so I remember one of the first April weekend camps that we had. I was over there in Concord. We were rehearsing at the Mount Diablo College, and I remember the horn line and the drum line was on the field, and they were kind of running drill a little bit already, but they had the chairs spread out on the field. And Scott Chandler, our program and color guard director, told us, hey, like, color guard, go on the chair. I just want to see what it looks like. And I just remember, and this is the first time I was with the corps, right? My first time ever a rookie. I stand on the chair, all the whole color guard standing on chairs. And then I just see the horn line and the drum line doing this like mind-blowing, crazy drill, like zigzagging in between me. Like, and I'm just like standing on this field, like,
what am I doing here?
Whoa, like, I was just like, whoa, I'm here. Like, this is so crazy. Like, I'm marching the Blue Devils. This is so insane. People would kill to be here. So, like, I just remember thinking, like, whoa, I'm here. Like, wow. And just being so grateful to be there. So, that was a very happy moment for sure. So, and also just like my rookie year to winning a DCI championship the same year, like, that whole year was just so mind-blowing to me, and such an amazing experience. Anyway, I could go on. I have a lot of happy memories. But those are just kind of like the general, for sure.
Did you rook out with Blue Devils then, or did you march after that?
No, I had 3 years. So I did 09, 10, and 11. Okay.
All good shows, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I love those shows. Totally. Although, like, I wish, I always say this to people, I wish I went in a year earlier so I could have marched 08.
That was such a good show.
Yeah, like, that was such an amazing show. I wish I marched that show. Or I wish that my birthday was in June so I could have had that extra bonus year and aged out with for the 2012 program, because that show was amazing too. So I wish I could have been a 4-year vet, but just missed it by a little bit.
that is something that, you know, they say, like, once you're a 4-year vet, like, that's a totally different world versus I never was. I never stayed at a place more than 2 years myself, but like after being a 4-year vet, like in your 5th year is always like
where did you march
something
at?
different. I marched at Blue Stars.
Oh, okay.
I marched at Blue Stars, but before that I marched at Memphis Sound, which is just a little open class corps in Tennessee. And that was like what you're saying about like people having to drive really far to find places to go. It was 4 hours. So I'm driving 4 hours across 2 different states and having to go there for for drum corps, and it was just like there's no other training, there's no other way. You know, I had at one point I'd wanted to march Phantom Regiment, and then of course I fell in love with the Blue Stars so much, and but like when I actually marched, it was like where do I get this training? Like how do I get up to that level? And that was the same sort of thing. You know, we did have a marching band at our school, luckily. Because this school has not always had a marching band. In fact, this year, so many marching bands here have been canceled. It's just, it's going to be really hard for, I think, these kids to continue, like you were saying before, wanting to do this after this season.
Absolutely. So it's just, I don't think it as a whole. I mean, I'm sure DCI and WI have thought the same thing.
Right.
But I don't know if like Color Guard collectively, like people that were marching or teaching, have thought the same thing. So. Yeah, so it's tough for sure.
So with all of this being said, how has Color Guard changed you as a person?
Color Guard did a lot for me for sure. I have no idea the human being that I would be if it wasn't for Color Guard. Like Color Guard disciplined me. It showed me that I need to work hard. It showed me that that anything is possible. You just have to put effort into it and put the work in. Like I think that's the number one thing that I got out of doing Color Guard is that things take time and things take effort. Like I feel like a lot of people in general want things, but they just want it to come to them rather than going get it yourself, you know? So I think that's the number one thing. Like for me, like I feel like I've always lived my life by that. If I want something, I'm gonna go get it. And if I don't get it, then I'm gonna work on how I can go about getting it, you know? So like nobody's gonna hand me anything at all. So I always try to approach my life as much as possible with that in mind.
Fantastic. Honestly, that was a big revelation as an instructor for me. Like, because people aren't just going to come out and hand you jobs either.
Right.
Like going into the teaching world, like you're not just going to hand you jobs. You really have to go out and get it. And I think that's really good for this next question. What's the biggest misconception you face as a Color Guard influencer? Like maybe the biggest misconception about Color Guard?
There's a lot of things. Like I can't really pinpoint it. I feel like there's a lot of misconception. Like as I said, like when I first started my Instagram and I started pushing out content, you know, for the first couple of like 3 years, I was still like the only one doing this. Like I was just like, I mean, you were doing it too, of course. But
I was over on YouTube. I didn't join. Yeah. I actually didn't join Instagram until like, I think 2015. I made an account, but it was like I posted occasionally.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal.
But it still counts. Like YouTube is the digital space, and totally, it totally counts. But like I'm just saying, like in general, like now, I mean, and don't get me wrong, it makes me really happy to know that there's a lot of young kids that are now just posting Color Guard content on TikTok, on Instagram, or whatever, and it's so crazy to me because like I remember like back when I started posting videos, like it used to be like, I don't want to say taboo or weird for you to post the video of yourself spinning, like because it was almost like this like unspoken thing that if you posted a video of you spinning, you were just asking to get subjected to like just trolling.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
I remember back in the day, like, you know, I would post some choreography of that I did or a toss. And let's say I did this toss and I stepped like slightly. Those trolls would be like, oh, you moved slightly to your right. Like, oh, wow. Like, thank you. I didn't
see it.
Wow. Thank you so much for this amazing comment. Wow. You're amazing. Why aren't you teaching Blue Devils or something? Like, you know, yes. So like I don't get me wrong. I heard comments like that, like, all the time at first, but I feel like now it's like shifted a little bit more nowadays where people are a little bit more positive on choreography. I know I certainly am. Like when I see kids posting up choreography, I always try to say, hey, this is awesome, good job, this is great, this is cool, like because I feel like now, like I don't know, it's like it's almost as if there's this like battle to be ultimately perfect on social media. And I've never been perfect. I'm far from perfect, you know. And I know every single one of my choreo videos that I have posted is not perfect. I could give you so many like errors that I made in those videos, but it was one of those things where I'm like, you know what, this is as perfect it's gonna get. I just need to put it up. And that's the thing. I think that's the biggest misconception, is that people, that I feel like as a color guard influencer specifically, I feel like people expect us to be perfect. Right? They expect us to be perfect, never have any mistakes, never have any bad days, and that we're 100% the person that we show ourselves to be on Instagram, which isn't the case. Like, I am very different from my Instagram, what my Instagram perceives me to be. Like, I've always really described my Instagram as like my alter ego, to be honest, because in reality and in real life, like, if you meet me as a person, I'm just a regular, chill person. Like, when people freak out, I'm like, hey, like, I'm just a normal guy
Yep.
that just happens to do goofy videos on Instagram, and it took off, you know. So yeah, like, I think that's the biggest misconception. Like, people expect you to be perfect, and we're not, and we will never be. It's just like part of a lifestyle that we decided to work on. And the thing is that, like, influencers in general, I feel like some people do, but I don't feel like everybody really knows how much work it takes to be an influencer and to push out content that is good. Like, I've seen so many accounts that like have come and gone on Instagram, where it's like they were posting all these like videos of them spinning, and then and they were great, but then all of a sudden they just stopped. And the thing is, I don't judge them, because I know it's difficult to keep the content going. That, I think that's key in being an influencer, is just keeping the content consistent, and flowing, so that you can keep growing your audience as much as possible. So, and that's a hard part. You have to be a producer, you have to be a camera person, you have to be an analytics person.
Yeah.
Like, you have to concept all these ideas, and you know, it's a lot of work.
And you have to do it quickly, because you have to get that content out like within a certain amount of time. And like, especially with TikTok and like with trends and things, if you have an idea for a trend, you have to do it right now, because that trend's going to be gone tomorrow.
Absolutely. I remember when the rapper Drake released his last album, there was that Kiki challenge where people were dancing outside their cars, and I was like, oh my god, I need to do that. Like, I remember calling my friend Artie, that usually helps me with videos. I was like, hey, I know it's 4:00, I really need your help right now. We went to the closest university, went to the parking lot, he was down, and he like shot a video of me doing that several times. So yeah, totally, you have to jump on it. And that's the hard part too. So but yeah, no, there's a lot of misconceptions, I feel like, and you know, unfortunately, like, it's just, I feel also like, me specifically, while I love color guard and I feel like I'm a pretty okay teacher at color guard, I almost feel like when I see people at shows, people perceive me as like Irving, that goofy guy from Instagram, rather as like Irving, this great color guard choreographer, you know. And I think I'm just, I don't know, I feel like in general sometimes I could be perceived as somebody that like just jokes around and doesn't take things seriously, but when in reality I'm very much about like strategy and trying to build up a team and trying to have a positive outcome, excuse me, and you know, at the same time, just, you know, laugh along the way, right? Be goofy along the way. So yeah, like, I think in general, like, people don't, like, I feel like people aren't the same person that they perceive themselves to be on social media. People on social media are not perfect, and they all deal with their own problems in their own way. So yeah.
So what's next for you? What's the next on the big Irving adventure here that is your life? You know, what do you want to focus on, especially with like taking a break from social media and being being punk rock Irving, the color guard personality, like, where do you want to go from here?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think it's one of those things that I'm kind of like discovering slowly of like, what am I going to do with that punk rock Irving? Because see, the thing is that with my punk rock Irving account, like I always had it in mind, like that it stressed me out after a little while, where I'm like, I need to shoot content before work. I need to shoot content after work. I need to shoot content on the weekends. I've often felt guilty because I said no to family or friend gatherings or doing things with like people I'm dating because I want to shoot content or whatever. And I prioritized that over a lot of things, a lot of things. And I feel like within the past couple months in this quarantine, I've been able to kind of just scale it back a little bit. When my weekends come, I actually am able to not be as anxious and just relax and just like, okay, no, like you don't have to shoot anything right now. You don't have to relax, have a cool, chill weekend, like a normal person, right? So, so yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna go to next or what I'm gonna do or anything like that. Like I'm gonna keep on I'm gonna keep on focusing on my career right now, and so that's going really well. My career outside of color guard, so
Right.
that's going really well so far. I'm in a relationship. I'm doing well in that relationship. I have tons of friends that love me. Like a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a huge beer fan, and I have really close friends that were actually planning on starting to brew our own beer.
Okay.
So another goal might be to open up a brewery soon in LA. So any color guardies that are 21 and over, I'll soon have some beer for you. So stuff like that, I guess just taking on other projects that I just could not take on while I was spending so much time trying to make content for punk rock Irving. So we'll see. I don't know yet. I don't have really a set plan. I'm just kind of taking it day by day.
Honestly, that's so good though. It's so good. Like you just are able to, you'll get the time to actually look at yourself and decide like, this is what's important to me and this is what I want to do with my time and with my life. Life is short and people don't always realize that, especially when you're young, you get to a point and you just turned 30 recently, right? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, I'm 30, yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, I don't know. I remember when I turned 30, it was like this big, like existential thing of like, well, crap, have I done like what I am worth? Like, or is there more I can do for the world, and have I done everything I wanted to do? So I get that a lot.
Yeah, totally. And I'm trying to kind of just take it into perspective that, us as people, we're all on very different journeys and they're not going to be the same. People do things differently, like, and people accomplish things at a different rate, and so like, I can't say like, oh, I'm 30, have I done everything? Like, I was like, hey, like my 30s and my 40s and my 50s eventually, like, I'm sure I'll do cool stuff then. I just don't know what it is. I'm looking for that next thing. I'm the kind of person that never stays. I can never just like stay quiet. So I'm always doing something, trying to take on a project or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. But if color guard does come back, I'll probably go back and teach here and there where I can. Okay. So we'll see. Yeah.
So when we have Spintronics camp next year, I'll call you.
Yeah, there we go. That's what
have you noticed kids don't do this anymore? They do this.
Yeah, I do this. I know. I saw.
I was like, wait, what? Us elderly people were like, I'll call you. Nope, it's this.
Nope. I know. I think I saw that in a TikTok or something.
Well, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. This is awesome. Honestly, I feel like it's a birthday present. Today's my birthday, by the way.
Oh no! Oh my God! Why are you talking to me on your birthday?
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's a birthday present. I'm like, yeah, I get to talk to Irving for my birthday.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you for coming and talking to me, and thank you for supporting like our podcast and all the other new stuff we've been doing over at Spintronics. And
of course.
It's been an awesome ride, and I just, like I said before, you've inspired me, and I know you've inspired so many other people, and Yeah. You were the
Thank you.
best.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you know, I wish you well on all the content that you're putting out too, and everything like that. Like you've always been a great supporter and very positive and everything. So I thank you too.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Guys, thank you so much for coming and watching. And hopefully we'll get to see everybody next week on our live. So
Cool.
I'll see
Bye.
you. Bye.